I told you that the money in your bank account probably wasn't printed by the government, that it was actually created out of thin air by a private bank? It sounds kind of like magic, right? But it's actually the engine that drives our entire economy. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how banks really create money. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. The vast majority of money in the world today doesn't physically exist. It wasn't printed on some giant press. It was just willed into being with a keyboard. It sounds completely unbelievable, I know, but by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how this system works and why it matters so much. All right, so first things first. To really get this, we have to unlearn something that pretty much all of us were taught about how banks work. Most of us have this picture in our heads of a bank as, a simple middleman. I deposit my savings, and the bank takes that exact money and lends it out to someone who wants to buy a house. Simple, right? Well, that's the myth. The reality is something else entirely. When a bank issues a loan, it's not dipping into a vault of other people's money. It's creating brand new money right then and there. So how in the world does a bank just create money? Well, it's actually a surprisingly simple process that happens thousands of times a day every single time a loan gets approved. Let's just walk through it. Okay, let's say you need a loan to buy a car. You go to your bank, fill out the paperwork, and they approve you. Now here comes the magic moment. The banker doesn't go to a vault and count out cash. They just pull up your account on their computer and type in the loan amount. And boom, that's it. In that split second, new money was created. The total money supply in the entire economy just got bigger. That digital number on your screen, that's brand new money. Think about what just happened. No existing money was moved from one account to another. Nobody's savings account went down for yours to go up. No physical cash was printed. The bank simply created a new digital entry. Your new loan, which is a liability for you, and your new deposit, which is an asset, appeared at the exact same time, perfectly balanced on the bank's books. Now, obviously, banks can't just go wild and create infinite money whenever they want. There are rules, and the entire framework that governs this whole process is called the fractional reserve system. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is pretty straightforward. Banks have to hold a small fraction of the money people deposit with them in something called reserves. Think of these reserves as the ultimate constraint. While it's true that loans create new deposits, the total amount of new money a bank can whip up is limited by the amount of these reserves it has on hand. Let's make this super simple with an example. Imagine you get your paycheck and you deposit a fresh $1,000 into your bank account. Now let's say there's a 10% reserve requirement. That's a pretty standard number. That means the bank is legally required to hold on to 100 of your $1,000 as a reserve. It can't touch that money. So, what about the other $900? Well, that $900 represents new lending capacity for the bank. It can now go out and create a brand new loan for someone for up to $900. And this is where the chain reaction really kicks off. Okay, this is where things get really fascinating. That first loan, the one that was made possible by your deposit, kicks off this incredible domino effect that ripples through the entire banking system. It's called the money multiplier effect. So remember that person who borrowed the newly created $900? Let's say they used it to hire a contractor to fix the roof. What does the contractor do? They take that $900 and deposit it into their bank account, which might be a totally different bank. And guess what the contractor's bank does? The exact same thing. It looks at the new $900 deposit, holds 10% in reserve, that's $90, and realizes it now has the capacity to create brand new loans up to $810. And this cycle just repeats over and over again. That $810 is spent, it gets deposited somewhere else, that new bank keeps 10% and lends out the rest. This whole cascade is what economists call the money multiplier, and it's how your single original $1,000 deposit can ultimately support the creation of up to $10,000 of brand new money across the entire economy. Wild, right? Okay, so banks can create money out of thin air. It's a neat trick. But why is this more than just a cool financial fact? Well, because this system is quite literally the engine of our economy, and it affects every single one of us every single day. So if all these private commercial banks are the players out on the field creating money, who are the referees? That's where central banks come in, like the Federal Reserve here in the US. They're the ones who set the rules of the game.
They decide what that reserve requirement is. They influence interest rates. They basically control the environment, making it easier or harder for banks to create new money, which lets them speed up or slow down the whole economy.
But, this power comes with some pretty big risks. If banks create way too much money way too fast, it can cause inflation, which just eats away at the value of your savings. And since all this new money is born as debt, it fuels this massive expansion of debt across society. And if banks get careless and lend recklessly, it can create huge financial bubbles that eventually burst, leading to devastating crises, just like we saw back in 2008. So, yeah, this isn't some abstract theory that only economists care about. The interest rate on your mortgage, the return you get on your savings account, the price of groceries, the health of the job market, it's all directly tied to this process of banks creating money through lending. So, look, if you take only one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. That image we have of money being carefully printed by the government, it's mostly a myth. The vast majority of money in our economy, we're talking over 90%, is digital. And it is created every single day by private commercial banks, every time they approve a loan. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. If the power to create almost all of the money in our country rests not with our elected government, but with private institutions, who do you think really controls our economy? It's a fundamental question about how our world really works. And now you know the secret.